So Power Rangers issue 20. This issue, if I can describe it with one word, is kind of heartbreaking because this issue is the funeral of Jason's mother, where Jason had learned a couple of issues ago that his mother had passed away. And this is a big loss for Jason where he loses someone very important to him. And not only that, when Jason gets back to Earth, people who are close to him are sort of moving on in their own ways, and Jason doesn't know how to process this. So Jason is sort of going through this character moment or character arc where he doesn't know what to do next with his life, or he doesn't know what's going to happen next, and he's sort of trying to figure out how to grieve and process this loss of losing someone important to him. And a lot of people were praising Ryan Parrott by doing this because a lot of people said they can relate to this with Jason losing someone close to them, or the audience can relate to losing someone close to him. And seeing what Jason's going through, I'm guessing that once again, a lot of you guys watching this video or the readers can probably relate to what Jason's going through right now, as Jason is sort of going through the emotional highs and lows of losing someone important to him. Not only that, we've got the stuff going on in space with Andros, where Andros is sort of doing his own stealthy mission where he sneaks into the Omega Ranger vault on Safehaven and finds the morpher to the Death Ranger, setting up the big story arc where the Death Ranger is going to be the next big threat in the Power Ranger comic, leading to issue 100. So that's going to be something as well. So without any further ado, let's talk about Power Rangers issue 20. So the first couple of pages is the funeral and the wake of Jason's mum. And I'm not going to spend too much time on these pages because they are very quite sad, and a lot of people can probably relate to something like this and understand what Jason's going through in this comic right now. And for anyone who has experienced this, you do have my condolence. But we find out how Jason's mum passed away, and to be honest, it's kind of scary because it is something that I even fear for the people I know every day in my life, and it's just that Jason's mum just never woke up and she died in her sleep. That's what they say. And that is a scary way to go out, and I'm probably going to leave it at there because although the funeral and the wake scene does have some emotional and touching moments, like Ernie sort of consoling Jason and being that father figure, it is hard to talk about with this scene because it is really sad and heartbreaking, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. So after that, we then have Andros and 11 interrogating the alien that they captured from last month. And this alien is such an arsehole. Like, they're trying to get information out of him and he is not budging. And he even taunts Andros by saying, you know, I invaded other worlds before KO-35, somewhere much smaller and less advanced where they only had pitchforks and shovels, and they even fought harder than your people did. So he mocks him right there by saying something like that. And then he just rubs even more dirt on the wound by saying, deny it all you want, but Dark Spectre was right. Your world is just begging to be conquered. And after that, 11 and Andros walk away because they're unsuccessful. But then Andros comes back in, and he's got the black stealth suit on. And he interrogates the alien in his own way by essentially beating the shit out of him and trying to get answers out of him, which is a part of their plan that's going to come into play later down the line in this issue. So after the whole Andros interrogation, which is far from over, we'll jump back to that in a little bit, we have Jason and his dad in the kitchen, and we kind of get to see what their life is like. And Jason tells his dad saying, hey, after the peace conference, I can come back for a little bit and help around the house if you need me, if there's anything you need me to do. And Jason's dad is like, no. And Jason's like, why not? And Jason's dad replies with, well, I'm selling the house. And Jason's shocked by this news, as anyone else would be. And Jason's dad says, I'm selling the house, the paperwork is already done, and once that's done with, I'm moving the Crawford to stay with my sister. So Jason's sort of like freaking out, saying we can't even discuss this and stuff like that. And Jason's dad also replies with saying, hey, there's been a lot of alien attacks and Angel Grove isn't the safest place. And Jason's rebuttal is saying, hey, do you think Mum would have wanted this? I can come back here and help. And Jason's dad isn't having any of that. And his response is kind of blunt and upfront by saying, what can you do, Jason? Stare at me like she did for the last year and a half, just waiting for me to fall apart? And then he tells Jason saying, hey, I don't want you here, understand? I'm going to live my life the way I want to, and I expect you to do the same. And that's where that conversation ends, where they have this heart-to-heart talk where Jason's dad does kind of come off as an arsehole in this conversation, but people grieve in their own way, and the best thing that Jason's dad is doing right now is sort of packing everything up and moving away and just moving on with his life, and he wants Jason to sort of do the same by saying, live the way you want to live your life, and don't let anyone else influence it. So I can understand where he's coming from, but there's like a lot of emotional damage in this episode. So after that, we then cut to the juice bar or the rec center, where we get a cute little scene where Journey is putting on a magic show for everyone via phone live streaming, and you've got Jason and Tommy sparring, where Tommy gives Jason the recap of what's been going on in his comic series, and he sort of implies that he wants Jason to hunt down King Aradon and scare him and make sure he never comes back, but Tommy reassures him that King Aradon won't be returning anytime soon because Rocky gave the dude a beatdown and scared him off, which, if you think the machines are gone, Tommy, you're dead wrong. So after that, Jason's main goal is to get back to Safehaven and help Andros out, but Trini says that Zach and her can take care of it, so take as much time as he wants. And Jason says, thanks for the concern, but you don't have to treat me like glass. I know it sucks, but he's doing okay, he promises. Then we cut back to Safehaven once again, which we're going to be doing a couple of times, jumping back between Safehaven and Earth in this issue. And we have Andros and 11 interrogating the alien once again. And this time, he's more compliant, but he's a little bruised up from Andros' beating he gave him a couple of pages ago. But this time, he's more compliant, and he turns himself in, and 11 puts him in an urn and puts him into the big vault that we saw way back in Necessary Evil. And Andros has a plan where he's working with the alien to get teleported in there. What Andros wants in there, we're not entirely sure, and we'll probably find out later down the line, but Andros soon gets distracted as he hears a mysterious voice calling out to him. This voice, of course, being the Death Ranger calling out to him, but it's so weird why Andros wanted to go into this vault. Like, I don't get it. There might have been something he was looking for. We don't know. I don't know. Hopefully that it gets explained later down the line. So after that, we then cut to Jason and Zordon having a bit of a discussion. And things do get very emotional in this discussion. It starts off with Jason telling Zordon about the people of KO-35 and how Dark Spectre's looming out there. So Jason comes up with the theory or the possibility of Dark Spectre attacking Zordon's allied planets while he's unable to do anything. So that could be a part of it. But you've got Jason sort of having this emotional breakdown as he's still trying to come to terms with what he's lost and what to do next, because Zordon recommends that he should take a break, but Jason doesn't want to take a break. I mean, he says, what should he do? Just sit around and cry? Binge Netflix? And he even tells Zordon that there's nothing left for him on Earth. The Rangers don't need him, his dad doesn't need him, and the one person that did need him, that was his mother, is gone. So Jason just opens up to Zordon and just goes on this big speech where he's sad that his mom's gone, and he then talks about Andros by saying Andros lost everything. He lost his planet, everyone he cares about, and Jason says he's kind of jealous because he can take out all that anger and rage at one point at someone or something. But here Jason is, or here I am, Jason says, with no one to blame and nothing to punch. And that's kind of the parallels that Jason and Andros have right now, where Andros' planet and his people were attacked and destroyed by someone, where Jason lost his mother due to natural causes, you can say, so he's got no one to blame and there's nothing for him to take his anger out on, so that's why he's practically beating himself up. And a lot of people do have the theory and the speculation that Jason's going to become a bit of a loose unit and start going off the walls crazy. We have yet to see that, but that could happen. But it's the parallels between what these two characters have lost and how they're dealing with their loss. So after that, we then have Andros going through the vault and he's talking to the mysterious voice that is the Death Ranger. And the back and forth that they have is very interesting, because you've got the Death Ranger sort of talking in mysteries and riddles like he's a freaking Sith Lord, and Andros asks the Death Ranger, "Are you the one who conquered death?" And the Death Ranger replies with, "I didn't overcome or defeat it, I tamed death." And Andros asks the Death Ranger saying, "If I release you, will you help me avenge my people and destroy Dark Spectre once and for all?" And the Death Ranger says, "I will do that and so much more." So Andros sort of blows up the chains on the urn, opens it up, and what do we find in the urn? Well, it's not a character, funny enough. It's a morpher, an Omega Ranger morpher. So that is a kind of interesting plot twist of what the Death Ranger is, because I'm guessing that once you use this morpher, you become engulfed by the Death Ranger and possessed by the character, which is probably going to be Andros with his quest for revenge that he wants to take out on Dark Spectre. But it makes sense, because what I mentioned earlier, I was like, what's Andros doing in here? I'm guessing he was trying to find someone who could help him defeat Dark Spectre, and this person is the Death Ranger, which we'll probably be meeting very, very soon, and we'll be learning more about them in August when we get the Death Ranger comic. So either way, this was quite the interesting issue. Sad, but it's also setting up the Death Ranger storyline we're getting later down the line. But there's also other plot elements that I'm wondering are going to come into play later, like Vox's people going to Safehaven. Are they going to show up eventually? I mean, they were teased at the start of this story arc. Will they show up? I don't know. But either way, this was a really good issue, an emotional one, but also an interesting one setting up for the next story arc with the Death Ranger. So once again, Ryan Parrott did an amazing job writing this issue, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go next. So what did you guys think of this issue? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. With that said, I'm bringing this video to a close. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Take care. Bye.